What's up everyone and welcome to the first episode of this interview series I want to make. Just before we start, I don't have a name yet, so if anyone has any ideas, let me know in the comments, and please excuse my poor English, I'm no native speaker. Now though, let's get into it and let me introduce our first guest, The.emp1re. Would you maybe like to introduce yourself very quickly?
Yeah, what's up guys, it is The.emp1re. Excited to be here. Ready to get at it.
Always nice to hear that. But let's just jump right in now. So, you started uploading to Instagram in late 2017, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
When looking at your older posts from the time around 2018, I realized that there were a lot more pictures actually taken by you. What made you move away from those kind of posts to the more Photoshop/PNG centric style we see on your account today?
You know, when it all first started, I was kind of just like, I was inspired by like other content creators out there, and I was kind of just really wanting to just post anything, and of course, easiest way to do that, which was what was really popular at the time, it certainly shifted a bit, but was just plain white background minifigure posts. So of course, that's where I started. It was kind of just really fun just to be posting anything, making posts, different combinations. Then a couple months into it, I did my first top 10, and it did really well, which back then really well was 100 likes for me. But of course, I was kind of like, thankfully I was lucky. I was able to find what worked well for me early on. And as time went on, I slowly, gradually shifted from like white background posts into more like Photoshop PNG type posts. And now it's to the point where I really don't post at all about any of my real life Lego, because for one, I honestly wasn't a big photographer. I definitely preferred doing like the more Photoshop type of stuff. And two, it's more fun and just works well for me.
And you're doing it very well. You mentioned you were inspired by other people. Who are some people that inspired you to start posting?
Definitely Jangbricks was like the main one. That was back when he was still like, I'd say in his prime of posting, back whenever every review was sort of full of life, really, he was still like really excited to be doing it. I think he's kind of lost, not to say his touch, but I think he's definitely grown maybe a bit tired of it throughout the years. But he was definitely one. mandrproductions was another one. He used to have some really good content back in the day, really passionate. Those were probably the main two people. And on Instagram, it's like Lego Star Wars 15, I'm pretty sure, something combination like that. He was like the biggest guy at the time. He really inspired me as well.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Productions had a big influence on me as well. Another thing I noticed about those later posts is that there are a lot of accounts doing ones in a similar style nowadays. One that comes to mind would be May the Lego Be With You. Would you say you were kind of a predecessor to that, inspiring other people to follow you in that direction, or do you think that was just the natural progression of Lego Instagram?
Yeah, definitely, like, I wouldn't, like, toot my own horn or pat my own back or anything, but, before me, there really wasn't any, like, white Photoshop type of posts. Now, I'm not to say I'm, like, the person who invented it, but, I'm sure I definitely had a lot of, I would say, impact on it, because even, like, one of the bigger accounts that does it, Vader Fan, he started doing it after me, per se. I was doing it before him. I think also it's just, like, there's definitely a shift from, like, the white background post to more that sort of style and other stuff, too, and I think it's just kind of a natural thing. I think people, in a way, like the minifigure posts, there's some really cool accounts that still do it, but in a way it's kind of like a limited space for it, because you can only do so much with it, if that makes any sense. Like the accounts that do it, there's only so much variation between the accounts. There's not a lot of room for growth in there, but I think there was a lot of growth for like white, like Photoshop posts and just other stuff in general.
Now, you're someone that has clashed with quite a few people in the community over the time. Would you say you're someone that's just a little more confrontational? Because, at least in comparison to other people in our circle, it certainly seems so.
The way I like to look at it is, I've been confrontational, but I'm definitely not out looking for it. I don't like thrive for it or anything like that. And the people I've confronted have certainly earned it. Like, I'm not going to go after some guy that's just minding his own business, like just doing his Lego hobby. The people I've clashed with are certainly the people that have, kind of been dishonest to their followers, spread misinformation, or just general negative people for the Lego community. I guess you'd say it's something I don't look highly on. Definitely not something I want to do, but if someone needed to say it, I was the one to say it.
Now, maybe this is a bit of a loaded question, but we've seen the rise of a lot of homophobic content in the community over the last 2 years mostly. Do you think that's because of Lego's rising engagement in the LGBTQ community, or do you see other reasons, like the sheer growth of the Lego fan base over that time frame, for example?
I think it's one of those things. It's like, as you grow bigger, of course it's just going to come with it. On my account, personally, I just stay completely out of it on both sides, I feel, because I know there's some people just don't appreciate it going both ways, if you know what I'm saying. Like, some people don't want to hear, like, me advocating for it, and there's also other people that, I just don't want to hear it at all. So I feel, to be fair for both sides, it's just easier just to not comment on it and just stay out of it. Of course, like, you see some people being, like, homophobic. It's totally unacceptable. Lego themselves, I think it's totally great that they're, I would say, like, giving their input and like helping out. I think it's great that they're doing that. I feel it's also, they've done it in not a minimal way, but they've done it in reserve, in the sense that they have not made it totally like out of proportion, like making it seem like that's their mission over like the company themselves. So if you're someone that, you know, supports it or is for it, like you're happy to see it, but at the same time, if you're someone who just likes to stay out of all that stuff, you of course like don't feel like Lego's like overwhelming you on that, which I think they've handled it very well personally. But of course there's some people who will just complain just to complain. People like that are totally unacceptable, but you know, I it's very few and far between. I feel it's just like you see more people that are positive or neutral towards it than, but of course they don't shine more than like the toxic people, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, totally. Pretty much in the vein of the silent majority and the loud minority kind of stuff. Another thing though, if we're talking about toxic people and you're clashing with a few of them, I don't think we can ignore bricks. Do you maybe just want to give us a quick rundown of your history with him on Instagram?
You know, it all kind of, I mean, I've never really cared for him. I think a couple of things. I think he's not a good businessman. He will rip you off. I mean, there is just I've had countless people tell me, yeah, I bought this from the public bricks and it was fake, or yeah, I bought this and it was just completely disgusting or whatever, like the product quality. And it was one of those things I was like, anyone have ever asked me, like, would you recommend him? Of course, I'd be like, yeah, I think you're better looking elsewhere. But the one thing I heard, it was all around the time, it was like April of last year. It kind of started too, like when like the GameStop and like the AMC boost happened. Then people like Republic Bricks decided they could really do the same thing in the Lego community. And what they started doing was they made a group chat, him and his couple like minions, like his meat riders, you know what I'm saying, those type of people. And what they started doing was they started buying bulk minifigures on Bricklink or eBay, wherever they could get them. And like a month after they all stocked up, what they started doing was just like something like doing like all the to the moon crap. So of course they'd maybe buy like one example was like Bail Organa. You could get them for like $20-$30 like 6 months before it all happened. Then all of a sudden, you know, he's like, oh, this figure's going to the moon, after he has 100 in stockpile, him and his friends. And all of a sudden the figures are going for 70 and 80, and well, he was smart and didn't sell them right away, but that was also because, you know, I was watching them very closely, I feel, and me and other people, of course. But that's whenever I made that whole post about like the secrets of content creators, what they're doing behind the scenes, how, you know, they're making it seem like this product's in the man, but it's really not. He's just trying to manipulate market. That's whenever I went after him, because by that point, you know, like I had like the evidence of the group chat. Felt like it was right, because a lot of people got really ripped off by him, and I feel everyone deserved to know the truth about it.
Absolutely agree. Do you think that you are a big reason for the fall of his reputation, from a guy wanting to improve the space by selling mocks to a dude just using Lego to get monetary gain?
I'd say not really. I think my post definitely did justice. You know, if I could save at least one person from buying off him, I'd say it was a successful post. And I surely think I opened up some people's eyes to like what was actually going on there. But I'd say in the grand scheme, it really didn't do that much. I mean, I don't have like too much of a reach, if that makes any sense. I feel it's one of those things. He honestly did it to himself, you know. I mean, word spreads. I mean, you can't be ripping this many people off day after day, this poor quality day after day, and expect people not to catch on. I mean, I feel it's really his own fault. I think he's still doing an incredible business too. That's the other thing. So it's hard to say it hasn't worked out for him. But you know, I think like he definitely does not have a reputation anymore. It's very little. But I think he honestly did that to himself. And also like his like story rants, you know, telling people to like, you know, like find God, all of his religious rants. No matter what you think on the subject, you can't be doing that to people, especially customers.
So you've recently started a podcast together with Pacific Bricks. Do you plan to continue that podcast? I mean, I'm only asking because you've gone from weekly uploads to no uploads at all in the last 2 weeks.
No, I mean, it was one of those things. It was like we kind of just like decided to do it for fun. I've known him really since I started on Instagram. We know like each other's like interests and stuff like that. So he was definitely like a good partner for me. I mean, it was one of those things. We kind of just did it for fun too. You know, like we'll see where it goes. We've just been kind of busy the last 2 weeks, so we're just gonna wait till after LegoCon and do a big fun podcast on that and try to keep it going. Both of us are busy college students though, so it probably won't continue during the fall. But once again, it's just for fun. But yeah, it's kind of just to like try something different, something I've been doing for a while, just another way to like, you know, get my voice out. But yeah, it's fun to do whenever we do get the chance to do it. It's also hard too because we're 3 time zones apart, so you know it's like minus 6 hours on a day right there.
Yeah, I totally get that time problem as someone that's not from the US. One thing I did notice though was that you didn't upload those podcasts to a dedicated podcast channel, but you own the Empire channel. Does that mean that we could potentially see you expand outside of Instagram? I mean, you do also have a TikTok under your brand, so...
Yeah, funny story. That TikTok I have, I lost the password to it, and I'm not even sure what email I used on it. So that's kind of just distilled. I do want to. We'll see if I get to it. Once I finish my top 250 minifigures, I want to just do a quick, but it'll end up being like an hour because it's a 250 minifigures. But do like a quick top 250 video on there, see how it does for the fun of it. But yeah, I mean, I don't plan too far ahead. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, that's actually quite relatable. Starting this channel and all of my other stuff was quite spontaneous as well, but I guess I got lucky. Now, to end this up, who are some accounts you'd recommend people should follow? Insta, YouTube, TikTok, whatever you watch.
Okay. Not really sure on TikTok. I don't get on TikTok. Put it this way, anyone I follow on Instagram, I recommend because I like their content. I think they're a good person too, so they're definitely worth it. On YouTube, on who I recommend, I don't really watch much Lego YouTube anymore. Of course, you guys all know the big guns out there. I will shout out one guy though, who I think he's been making great videos and doesn't get that much credit. Is BB202. He's on Instagram. He's on YouTube. He's making some fantastic videos. Doesn't have many followers, so he's one guy I would definitely suggest you check out.
He'll be linked in the description. I'll check him out after this as well. And actually, that pretty much wraps up the interview. Just before we end, do you want to tell the viewers where they can find you?
Yeah, just go on Instagram. I have my YouTube link in the bio. Currently working on my top 250 minifigures of all time right now. So be sure to check that out. And yeah.
Yeah, it was great to have you on. You can find the links to his Insta and YouTube in the description as well. And with that, until next week, goodbye.